Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Films and Stuff podcast. I'm Ethan, joined, as always, by the MVP, Most Valuable Pete. Good morning, Pete.
Morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm great. And that's because we have our weekly stream or skip segment. You know the drill. Listeners know the drill. I introduce it. I introduce you. Then I mute my mic and turn it over to you, and you explain in one deep breath, 15 seconds or less, what is the concept of stream or skip.
All right. So Ethan and I have prepared lists of TV shows for each other to watch. Every week we randomly assign each other one of those shows. We watch 2 episodes if it's a series or 30 minutes if it's a feature. And on that basis, we determine if that show is worthy of being streamed or skipped.
Hence the name, stream or skip. Pete, without further ado, do you want to kick it off or do you want me to?
I'll kick it off. I watched a show that you were unable to watch for whatever reason on Disney Plus. Disney Plus/Hulu, but Disney Plus. This is the latest MCU show called Wonder Man.
I was not able to see Wonder Man. You got it instead. I don't want to say it's my sloppy seconds, but you got Wonder Man. Tell me about it.
It's a very meta show. What it is in this universe. So, okay, in the comic books, Wonder Man was an actor who was also a superhero. Mm-hmm. In this MCU universe, Wonder Man is an existing IP within their version of a fictionalized TV show, right? It's a TV show that existed and it's getting rebooted. The show stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who is a struggling actor in Hollywood. While it's being rebooted, he's like, oh man, I definitely have to be this guy because, we see flashbacks. He used to watch the original Wonder Man show with his father. It's got a lot of nostalgia for him. He's already a struggling actor, but for some reason, he feels like this is the show that will kind of give him some form of redemption.
It's a show about a show.
It's a show about a show. Exactly.
Oh man, I love shows that are a show about a show, right?
Yeah. So
because it breaks down like all these barriers and walls and
exactly. And the show in the show is about a superhero.
Okay.
And Yahya Abdul-Mateen turns out actually has superpowers, but he's hiding it from everyone outside of his family.
He's a struggling actor who's actually a superhero.
Exactly. And he's hiding that because he's being hunted by Damage Control, which we first saw in Spider-Man 2,
yep.
Right?
Yep.
And
Michael Keaton. Yeah.
With Michael Keaton, that's right. They are the MCU version of the superhuman police, right? Like they're looking to capture or they're looking to track down superheroes who are not in the public eye because they're afraid that superheroes could actually become supervillains and, they're worried about that. And so he's hiding from that.
Okay.
He's also hiding because there's a law in the MCU called the Doorman Clause. And it's because there was one superhero in the past who was an actor who accidentally killed a bunch of other actors because his powers kind of went haywire. So no superheroes are allowed to be actors in Hollywood.
That's a specific rule? That's very specific rule.
It's the Doorman Clause. So like when he goes for the audition for Wonder Man, they ask him, are you a superhero? And obviously they know that he's a struggling actor. So he's just like, we can just tick that as a yes. He doesn't ever answer. So, his way is like, don't ask, don't tell. That's how he's hiding it. The supporting cast is filled with the Mandarin. Remember Ben Kingsley?
Oh, yeah.
So he comes back in as the mole for Damage Control, and he acts as Wonder Man's mentor. There's a lot of shenanigans that go on. He obviously gets the part, and, all these kinds of things are happening. This is a very average show. It is
really
not offensive. Like, it's not bad or good to the sense like other MCU shows have really been very divisive. This is not divisive. This is as straight down the middle as you can get. Nothing screams about this as, oh my God, we're going to get the MCU villains on paper. Everyone hates these guys. Nothing screams like that. Nothing screams, oh my God, this is the next best show on the planet. You have to watch this. This is as inoffensive and safe as can be. That's why this is really not. I wouldn't recommend it because I don't see how it's going to play into the MCU. Like, I very much doubt the Wonder Man is going to be in the Doomsday movie or in any of
What
the.
are his powers?
So he can fly. He's got super strength, that kind of thing. This is kind of like a supernatural sci-fi show. It's not really a superhero show.
Is it funny? Is there humor? Like, did you laugh?
Kind of. There's a little bit from Ben Kingsley here and there, but I don't think they're playing it off for laughs.
Oh, I was looking at the IMDb and I see that Zlatko Buric is in it.
He plays the director.
I have to say, this guy has carved out like the best niche as like the Croatian, Russian, kind of like
Vaguely
like
Eastern European, ex-CIS flock.
Yeah, he's an Eastern European like drug lord or like gun runner or like despot leader or something. Yeah, like he's really cut out like that niche, right?
Yeah. In fact, he
Like we
played
saw
that
him in
same role
Superman.
as the bad guy president in Superman last summer.
Yeah, and Superman. He was perfect in that, right?
Yeah. So, do I recommend this show? Absolutely not. Do I think you should turn it off when the show is on? No, I don't think it's that bad either. This is. It doesn't add to the mythos of the MCU.
I mean, what's the strategy of MCU here? Are they just trying to like throw a bunch of stuff out and see kind of what sticks so that they can
I
create
think
like
that's exactly what they're doing. The first lot of TV shows were all about what taking popular characters or characters they wanted to expound on and making a show for them. And then the second lot of TV shows was more about building the new team of Avengers, right? We saw the new Hawkeye,
Yeah.
we saw the new Ms. Marvel, so there was a lot of team building for what they were hoping would be the next young Avengers. And now this is, for me, this is just like, okay, well, he's a great actor. This is an inoffensive show. Let's put, whatever it costs, $100 million into this. And who knows? Maybe we get the next superhero out of this.
I kind of like that strategy, but then I would expect that the strategy should be a little bit more bold. And should say, look, if we're gonna throw this guy out there, like let's give him like a real personality. Let's make it a little bit edgy. Let's make it something and like put a spin
I
on
would
it.
make it more memorable. I 100%
Right.
agree. This was a very, very safe. And look, I don't disagree with their strategy on making it safe either, because the last couple of shows have been so divisive and have garnered such negative sympathy, right? Like, She-Hulk was an absolute critical disaster, right?
But those are disasters. Okay, I hear your point because, like, to the untrained ear, what we're saying is contradictory. You're saying, this is pretty bland, it was safe, and we're saying they should have been more bold. But previously, we've like really ripped the bold stuff to shreds.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
those are bold because of their like political leanings and ideology. Like, we always caveat right or wrong. You're entitled to an opinion. We're not opining on that, but we're saying they took a stand, and the stand is what made them like offensive.
Yeah.
Or not fully embraced. But that doesn't mean that the character has to be bland, right? I mean, the character can be a jerk. The character can be arrogant. The character can be, something, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you don't need a bland character. You just need to have a politically neutral character, right? You don't need a commentary on society character. You can have someone who's got, think of like the original Iron Man, right? Like that character came with like a lot of bravado, like a lot of charisma, a lot of attitude, right? Not politically, but just in terms of their personality. And you could do the same thing with a character like that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So are you giving this a skip?
I'm giving this a mooch.
Okay. Now that you've mentioned Yahya Abdul Mateen, I am compelled to let you know that he is coincidentally also the main character in my assignment this week, which
No
is
way.
Man on Fire, which you may recall from the year, I'm going to make this up, 1994?
Is
I don't
this
know.
that Denzel Washington movie?
Man on Fire is the Denzel Washington movie, is 2004. Remember, Denzel Washington was hired like as this bodyguard for like a wealthy family, and I think it was in Buenos Aires or someplace in Brazil, right?
Right.
And it was although a typical character arc, it was played really well by Dakota Fanning, who at that time was such a young, like wispy little girl, and the hardened Denzel, who just kind of grunted and one word answers, and he's kind of like, I'm here to protect you, not to make friends. And she was like, oh, I'm just this little kid, and I don't have any exposure to the outside world, and I don't get to do anything. I'm just always protected because of my dad's position, right? Her dad, I think, was Mark Anthony. And then slowly, she kind of warmed him up, and then he's kind of like, okay, you're cute, and I'll always protect you. And she was kidnapped, right? He put her into a school, and somehow she was kidnapped and held for ransom because, the Mark Anthony, her father, was a big businessman or drug lord or something. And anyway, Denzel's like, okay, well, I'm just going to go John Wick style, and I'm just going to kill everybody and torture everybody until I get the girl back, right? And it's a heartwarming story, and they're reunited at the end, and we're all crying into our popcorn, and it's a cliche story, but I thought it was pulled off very well by Dakota Fanning and by, Denzel, right? That's Man on Fire, 2004. Now, the new Man on Fire, 2026, is Yahya Abdul Mateen, and he plays the same character, still named John Creasy, and his backstory is that he's kind of like one of these, a CIA operative or like a contractor for the CIA, and he's got this big, mission. The mission goes badly somehow, and his whole team is wiped out except for him, and he's got PTSD, and he's just kind of drinking his life away, right? I mean, underneath, he's this hardened Green Beret or Delta Force guy, but he's just drinking his life away, unable to overcome, this terrible event that he takes responsibility for. Then we're introduced to Bobby Covendale. So he turns up, and he says, hey, we used to be in, the military together, and I know that you're struggling. I've got a job for you. I'm doing this private security gig in Brazil. Same thing. Why don't you come and be on my team? So basically, he gives the guy a job, okay? Fine. Creasy's like, okay, I'm not doing anything else. I go. And right away, there's an assassination, basically. And his buddy, Bobby Covendale, him and his whole family, except for his daughter, are assassinated. So now it's just John Creasy and the daughter, and Creasy's like, okay, well, I'm just going to protect you, and everyone's obviously trying to, assassinate you for something that or your father knows, and I'm going to get you back to the U.S., safe and sound. And then so on and so forth. There's a bunch of kidnappings and dramas and tortures and whodunits. Is the CIA in on it? Are they trying to cover something up? It goes in a lot of different directions, and it's not really clear, who is the good guy, who is the bad guy. But the consistent theme is that the John Creasy character is protecting the Dakota Fanning character. Again, it's just not as dedicated her bodyguard. It's just to make sure that, she ultimately gets out of the country and back to the U.S. with her grandmother, whoever, safely. Is this a good show? It is, but it's not really that special. So I'm probably on the fence in terms of should I give this a mooch? Should I give this a skip? Me personally, it's a skip. I'm just not really enthralled by the setting is very what you would call kind of like the ghettos or the boroughs of some Brazilian city. So it's not really enjoyable to watch. Everything is gritty and dirty and old cars and car batteries and wrenches and pipes and it's not pretty to watch. The subject matter is also a little bit like dark. I mean, again, it's a lot of torture and beat ups and guns to people's heads and it's not really like an uplifting show, even though the relationship between Creasy and the little girl is kind of sweet at its core. It's just a lot of violence, to be honest, and a lot of, well, I'm going to torture you to find out who's behind this, and then it leads into like another layer of the onion being revealed. But I would say the show, which is on Netflix and was just released at the end of April, 7 episodes, is a well-filmed, well-acted, well-scripted show. It's just that it's not really showing me anything interesting, and it's hard for me to kind of really get behind the violence and the plot, which is ultimately going to be probably everyone's in on it, right? The CIA is probably in on it, trying to like cover something up, and everyone, and he's kind of like the lone wolf, trying to shoot his way out of the entire situation. So I have to give, in my opinion, Man on Fire is a skip, although I think in reality it's more of a mooch. The original Man on Fire, again with Denzel, I think was a little bit easier to watch because it was a movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was just about to ask, does this feel like they stretched it out? Because, 7 episodes for what feels like easily could be a 2-hour movie doesn't seem to make sense to me.
It's a very Breaking Bad-ish. Yeah, I don't know if Breaking Bad created this type of plot, but it's kind of like that Onion plot where like, okay, I've got to get out of this situation, and to do it, I've got to go get this guy, and I'm going to torture him to find out how I do it. And then I torture him, and I learn this person's behind it. Oh, but while I was doing this, then this person got kidnapped, so now I've got to go get this person, and the only way to find out where this person is to kind of torture this person. And it's just like, it's just kind of going through this like endless cycle of, every episode could be summarized as something unexpected happened, and in order to solve the situation, he's got to find this person and either threaten them, kill them, or torture them in order to find out where this person is so that he can shoot them and then solve the situation, right? And it just kind of like repeats and repeats and repeats. From an action sequence, it's all very good, to be honest, and some of the torture and the action is very, very good. But just in terms of like, if you were to kind of like summarize the plot in like one line, it's all basically the same,
Okay.
John Creasy, in order to get out of this situation, has to find this person. He tortures a person in order to find out this thing, and then the situation is solved. Until the next episode where this unexpected situation came. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Anyway, Man on Fire, just released, 7 episodes on Netflix. I give it a skip, but it's probably just a mooch. Tell our listeners what we've got assigned for each other for next week's episode of Streamer Skip.
All right, so next week you are on Amazon Prime, and I'm going to admit right now I've been a little cheeky about this.
All right.
Because this is a show that I'm definitely going to watch, but I want you to watch it as well. It is the new Spider Noir TV show.
Yes.
Which stars
Yes.
my main man, Nicolas Cage, as Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
Oh my gosh.
Spider Noir is officially, it's a spin-off of the Into the Spider-Verse movies, the animated movies of Spider-Man. Spider Noir is an alternate universe version of Spider-Man. It's I've read the comics, I played the video games. It's awesome. First of all, I mean, like, there's no way this is going to get a second season because apparently they spent $400 million on this show.
What?
Yeah, I don't know where. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but look, it's some ridiculous number, right? I think it was either 250 or $400 million. But even if it's 250, that's too much. This show comes in two versions. You can either watch it in color or in black and white.
How are you going to watch it?
You know what? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I'll probably watch it in black and white.
I'll probably try both just to kind of see the.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm so excited to see. I mean, first of all, Nicolas Cage, always. But
Oh, yeah.
B,
Your man
what
crush.
his version of Spider-Man is going to be, right? Because, like, we always think of Spider-Man as, like, this young, just out of high school, college kid who's struggling with life
Yeah.
and
Peter
real-world
Parker.
problems in New
Yeah.
York City. How is this going to
Yeah.
happen to a guy who's in his 60s playing a film noir detective? Oh my God, I'm so excited.
What streaming service is this on?
This is on Amazon Prime.
But it's Spider-Man is Sony Disney, right?
Yeah, but so Sony doesn't have a streaming platform. So what Sony does is, which I've been a strong advocate for from the very beginning, Sony licenses its shows out to different streaming platforms, whoever pays the most. It doesn't have its own platform.
All right. What do you have?
I'm also on Amazon Prime watching another show that you were unable to watch. I will watch The Assassin.
Yeah, why can't I find this? I'm so disappointed. I've even got Amazon Prime. It's annoying.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's the regional thing, but I know I've got access to The Assassin, so I will watch that.
All I've got is Citadel, which for another time I will just rail against. Can I do a quick railing against Citadel? I tried to watch another episode. God knows I tried. And I'm going to set up and this isn't why I didn't like the episode, but this is why I don't like the show. Like, it's these things that drive me crazy as follows. There is a girl, let's say that she's 12 years old. Okay?
Okay.
And she's being protected by the Citadel agents, and someone is trying to kill her for whatever reason that doesn't make sense. Okay? She's in a grocery store, right? They're just shopping, regular old grocery store. Somehow there's an assassin on the outside who has a high-powered sniper rifle that's like 2 meters long, right? With this crazy barrel shooting from across the parking lot. And it's just like whap, 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 right? Like just 5 headshots in a row. Everyone around the girl is shot in the head, right? Which tells you that this sniper is extremely proficient, right? Okay. The girl, of course, is scrambling and running and slipping on fruits and vegetables, right? While the sniper is like shooting like rounds and rounds and rounds and bullets that are hitting, I'm making this up kind of, but like, you know, pineapples and pears and all the fruits going and splattering in the cans and everything, but he's not hitting the girl. Okay, then the girl runs outside. In the snow, mind you. She's slipping and sliding and diving all over the place. Sniper takes his gun off his perch. He like positions it. Does he hit her as she's running between cars? No. Even though she's a 12-year-old girl in the snow, slipping all over the place. And he's obviously this very, very good sniper. Then he's coming towards her. She's just hiding behind a car. He's lighting the car up. Doesn't hit her. And then when he finally gets right in front of her and is going to do a headshot, he pauses. And of course, out of nowhere comes a car from across the parking lot that he didn't see or didn't hear, who hits the sniper, who rolls up on the windshield and is dead. The girl is saved.
Of course.
Why does this annoy me? For all these reasons. Like, you're a good sniper or you're not. But first you're a great sniper, and then you turn into a stormtrooper, can't hit anything. You know, 12-year-old girl is like outrunning you. Have you ever seen like a 12-year-old girl run, or a 12-year-old boy? Like, not like the most efficient athlete, right? I mean, it's just, anyway, I try with Citadel. I really try. I can't get anywhere with this show. All right, Pete, enough tangents for the day. Spider Noir and the Assassin for next week. But before we leave and bid our farewell, can you remind everyone of our YouTube, social media, and other creds so that they can like, comment, thumbs up, bell ring, and so forth?
Absolutely. Like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe to our channel, and do not forget to hit that notification bell so that you know when the next episode of the Films and Stuff podcast drops for you. Well
said, MVP. All right, listeners, thank you for tuning in, and we shall see you next week, next episode, Films and Stuff podcast. Bye now.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.